Anyways, this book is awful. This book is garbage.
Didn't I make you laugh? Didn't I make you smile?
Hi friends, it's Rory, and today is an unhaul video. So, as people who follow my channel know, I recently moved and reorganized my bookshelf. I put a video up, and when I did that, I decided to clear off some of the books that I no longer want, or just like books that like I know for a fact I'm never going to read. And so I'm gonna do an unhaul. Now most of these are gonna end up going to my local library. I'm gonna donate them. Some of them are going to go to my niece, who is the ghost in my video, where I do my end of year tag featuring a ghost. She's the ghost. She's also the one that went with me to Disney on the day that I asked all the princesses what I should read. So some of these she's going to get, but other than that, they're all going to go to my library. Except for one. One is just straight up being thrown away because I don't support the person who did it, and I don't think anyone should support the person who wrote it, and therefore I'm not going to put it into the world in order for other people to support it. And sorry, that's just how it is. And you know what? Let's go ahead and get started with that one so that I can get out of the way. This is Adultolescence by Gabby Hanna. Gabby Hanna is a shit person, and the fact that I used to support her makes me really, really sad. And so this is her first poetry book. It's not that great. I bought it because I was a fan, I kept it because I was a fan, and now that she's proven that she's a shitty person with shitty points of views who downplays everything and is just bad in general, I'm gonna straight up throw this book away. No one should support her. And so I'm not gonna, give it to my library where someone who doesn't know the type of person she is could, check it out and then end up being a fan of hers, because everyone should. No, I'm not gonna do that. So yeah, this is going into the garbage. Now I'll go into the book that I'm going to be giving my niece. This is the Owl Crate exclusive cover of Heartless by Marissa Meyer. I didn't like this book. I DNF'd it, but I was keeping this book for a long time because this cover is fucking gorgeous. It's so good. The white and the black and the red. It's a gorgeous cover. I was literally just keeping it for aesthetic choices. And I just realized I can't do that anymore, so I'm going to give it to my niece, who loved this book and loves this cover, because someone should get some love out of this. And that person is not me. And now all the other books I'm unhauling and I'm going to be giving to my library. The first one is Wicked by Gregory Maguire. This is the book that the musical is based on. I've had this book since high school. It's never really been a favorite of mine. In fact, I kind of really dislike it. So even though I like the musical, I've decided to get rid of this book. Speaking of musicals, my eyeshadow today is inspired by Beetlejuice. I just felt very Beetlejuicy today, so up next we have Four Dead Queens by Astrid Schultz. This is once again the Owl Crate exclusive cover. A couple of these are Owl Crate books. I still fucking love Owl Crate. It's just my reading taste kind of is weird. But I haven't even read this book. Just something I'm never gonna read it. I've taken it off of my shelf to give away and then put it back on a couple times because I'm like, no, I'm gonna read it. And then every time I take it off, I'm like, oh, that sucks. The other one is Three Dark Crowns by Kendar Blake. I also just like don't really have any interest in it. And I've heard like mixed reviews on this, but also I was gonna give it to my library, but as I picked it up, I realized when I moved a whole bunch of candles, and it appears like one of them just completely melted on this book. so that means I have to throw it away, which kind of sucks, because I do know people who absolutely love this book, and this probably could have gotten love from someone else. It just kind of sucks. Up next is the Sandcastle Empire. This was also given in Owl Crate. I just, like, the back of this, like, mentions, like, the Maze Runner and Lost and, like, a private island with, like, murderers, and it's a survival thing, and I'm just, like, not interested in it. So I'm not gonna read it. And this is gonna get taken to my library, and hopefully other people like it. Next up is City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. Now, I do actually like Cassandra Clare books. Not really so much the original series. This was given to me by someone in college because I mentioned briefly maybe wanting to read the Shadowhunter series. And so she was like, oh my gosh, I have an extra copy. Here, you can have it. But then I didn't because I got like this far into it and I was like, nah, I'm not gonna, I can't. So then I read the series on audiobook, which was much better because I always do better with audiobooks than I do regular books for things like this, where it's like the print version I'm just like not really getting into. I'll just listen to the audiobook version, and it makes it a little bit easier for me to at least get invested in enough to I can then continue with the print version. But I don't like the original Shadowhunter series enough for me to keep this book. The only ones that I really would want to own are the Infernal Devices books and the Tales from Shadowhunter Academy book, which was on my top 10 for 2019 list. So I'm just gonna give this to my library. They probably have like 7 copies of this book anyways, but you know, just in case they really want another one, then they have it. Up next is Stargirl by Jerry Spinelli. This has been a book I've had for a long time. I had this book from middle school. I remember not really liking it then, but I kept it because, as I've mentioned before, my goal in life is to one day have a room which I can use as a library and just have a whole bunch of books. So back then I used to keep every single book that I read, even if I didn't like it. And then it got continued with me through several, you know, cuts once I did start to get rid of books, because I was like, you know, it's a book from my childhood. What if one day I want to reread it? What if one day I have a series in which I reread books from my childhood that I liked? And, you know, some child may absolutely love this book, so might as well give it away so that they can have it. Up next is Catherine the Great, A Portrait of a Woman by Robert K. Massey, however you pronounce it. As we all know, I'm awful at pronouncing. This is a book on Catherine the Great of Russia, and because I was a history major, I do like to read kind of like biography type books. You haven't seen me read one because I need to be in a certain mood too, but I do, you know, pick these up and I read them. This one was just okay. I'm not like a big fan of Russian history. I do think parts of it are interesting, and I do think that Catherine the Great was an interesting person, but just like, there's no point in having this on my shelf if I'm not totally in love with it. So I'm gonna get rid of it, especially because it's such a big book. Like, this takes up a lot of space. Up next is a book I'm not entirely positive I'm getting rid of, so I'm putting this in, but I may decide to actually keep it, and that's Winter Spell by Claire Legrand. This is a Nutcracker retelling, and I freaking love the story of the Nutcracker. But part of me really wants to keep it and read it during Christmas time. But at the same time, Thoughts on Tomes just did, well, not just did, but she did a review on this, and she said it was really kind of weird, and there was like lots of weird sexual tension, and it was like, and I did get, one time I got like this far into it, and it was like okay, but like not blowing me away. But every time I look at this, the cover is gorgeous. I did buy this from Amazon, and it came through, it's clearly a copy from a library that they got rid of. And just like, I don't know, I'm on the fence. So maybe if you've read this book, put in the comments if I should keep it or not. I'm not taking these to my library until at the beginning of next month, when I grab my library books for next month. Because that's just the way I do it. I'll get my library books for the month, read through them, have them for my wrap-up, and then I'll go and get more library books. So I'm not going to be getting rid of these quite yet, but if you've read this and you think I should keep it, let me know. If you've read this and you think I should give it away, let me know, please. And last, we have a book that I am not regretting getting rid of, and that is Ship It by Britta London. This book is awful. This book is garbage. Just, This book makes bisexual people look bad, and I hate it. Actually, you know what? Savvy Writes Books, or Savvy from Savvy Writes Books, did a great video where she like ranked books by their bisexual representation, and I freaking love that video. So I think I'm gonna link that down below, because she says in that video everything that I have to say about this video, and how it's bad representation, and it also, you know, gives a bad rep to like fandom culture in general, and I'm gonna get rid of this so fast. It sucks. In fact, I might throw it in the garbage just like Gabby Hanna's book. I haven't decided that yet. You know what? There's a lot of decisions that need to be made. All I know is that this is a burning hot piece of garbage, and I'm getting rid of it. And those are the books that I'm getting rid of. You know, sometimes books just don't work out, and you need to get rid of them, so that you can get more books. Because that's all I want in life, is more books. I have 3 bookshelves, but I want more. One day I will own that library room. But until then, I just get rid of books that I'm not going to read, or I hated, or are by extremely problematic authors. As always, I hope that you guys had a great time with me today. There's a link down below to where you can register to vote. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye!